Coming in for his weekly visit after Bills games. Resident member of Bills Mafia, NFL Network analyst Michael Robinson joining us on the show. Mike, how we doing? What'd you think of that one?
Wow, I'm pumped up. I have a renewed sense of, positive energy and humanity. I mean, like, I can't put the words around it, guys. I didn't expect the opening kickoff to go for a touchdown. I did expect some excitement. I did expect some energy, you know what I mean? But the opening kickoff, and it wasn't like it was anything super special. It was just a middle return, right? One cut, and then he sped down the sideline. When I saw the New England Patriots players, chasing after Nyheim, I don't know, it just seemed like he got a boost of energy. It seemed like he got faster and they got slower. Man, it was divine intervention. It was a great thing to see. Glad that our Bills came away with the win and they played with a lot of energy. New England Patriots, they're a tough team to match up against, and they gave our Bills all they wanted. But at the end of the day, we came away with the win, getting ready for the playoffs.
We were saying that earlier. I was kind of tipping my hat to the Patriots. They walked into a buzzsaw. The emotion of that day, the whole league is acknowledging Damar all the way across the league. They got to walk into his home crowd there in Buffalo with the stadium in the shape that it was in, and then give up that kickoff. They actually came back, got up 17-3 early in the third quarter. The Patriots really did put forth an effort. Like they knew it, and they were trying to get into the playoffs, and they almost did it.
Yeah, they sure did. And at the end of the day, I think I tweeted something a little bit within the game. I'm so happy a defensive coordinator is calling plays for the New England Patriots, because I don't know if they had a real capable offensive coordinator, we might have been in trouble. But at the end of the day, we won the game. The Bills Mafia came up. We showed up and showed out. And Damar Hamlin watched the game as well. I was following his tweets all throughout the game, man. Big time happy moment for all involved.
So let's talk about the defense a little bit here, Mike. I was really impressed with the effort, at the line of scrimmage in the run front. Damian Harris has been a Bills killer in his career. He's only played 3 games against the Bills, but he's got over 340 yards rushing in those 3 games. He brings juice to that offense, and I thought they did an excellent job of keeping him hemmed in between the tackles, never let him get out and get loose. Taron Johnson at the line of scrimmage, Tremaine Edmonds at the line of scrimmage, and Greg Rousseau at the line of scrimmage. Those are my 3 run defense MVPs.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I would throw Settle in there and Ed Oliver as well in spots during that game. When you control the line of scrimmage like our Bills did this past weekend, they're a very tough team to beat, right? And I swear, Gregory Rousseau, did he make the first 3 plays of the game? I mean, did they even block him the first 3 plays? I mean, the guy was all over the place. And honestly, I could see the Von Miller influence on his game, using his body, being wiry, and being able to get to the ball carrier and get to the quarterback. But absolutely, the rush defense has to show up, especially this week against the Miami Dolphins. Who knows if Tua is going to play? Who knows what's going to happen at the quarterback position? So the Miami Dolphins are going to have to run the football, and our Bills gave up 188 rushing yards in that Week 15 matchup. So I expect our run defense to show up and show out.
Yeah, as you start thinking about this matchup, third time in the season, I kind of think now, you look back on it, it's a good thing they didn't beat them twice in a row. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. And that both games were close, very close. So I think coming into this game, you think it's going to look more like week 15 or week 3?
It depends. See, there's a factor there's an unknown here. It's the quarterback. It's Tua Tagovailoa. Right. When he is playing, this offense is at a whole nother level. And I'm not saying it's because of what our guy does in Josh Allen, because of the big, strong arm and all the physical abilities. I remember talking to Darrell Bevel, the quarterback coach, Week 15 before the game up there in Buffalo. And he said, Mike, he was my offensive coordinator back in Seattle. He said, Mike, Rob, Tua can see pictures. Like he can detail a play from college and tell you exactly where every defender was standing, and he can see the windows. That's his superpower. And when you look at this offense, this Miami Dolphins offense with all the speed on the outside, they need his anticipation and timing for this offense to do what it needs to do. If they don't have it, I'm not so sure that this run game is strong enough that they could just lean on it to beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, in that second matchup, Week 15, they picked on my man Teron Johnson. They picked on him. They ran weak. They tried to run at him a lot, tried to get big bodies on him, and then to counter that, they tried to run Tyreek Hill in motion going across the field and then run back behind him. Right at the end of the day, Leslie Frazier may have to think about putting in base defense just in run down sometimes, just so that we don't give up that many big runs early in this game.
Speaking of defense, Miami's defense, I know they're playing against Joe Flacco and the Jets yesterday. They only give up 3 field goals, but they've got some injury problems. They lack depth defensively in terms of experienced players they can put on the field. Xavier Howard might be a question mark. Byron Jones hasn't seen the field at all this year. It's basically Javon Holland back there with a bunch of guys with people going in and out of the lineup. I know Buffalo's secondary isn't the picture of health either, with Jordan Poyer playing hurt. Dean Marlowe's in there, a veteran player trying to stem the tide in Damar's absence. Tre'Davious White looks like he's kind of on the comeback trail after getting that pick yesterday. But Dane Jackson and Kyer Elam on the other side are still platooning because one guy might miss an assignment. Hey, take a seat. Let's see if this guy can do better. I'm thinking with these two secondaries in flux, Mike, we could be looking at a high-scoring game if, again, Tua plays.
Yeah, again, that's a big if Tua plays, we could be looking at that. But I just rely on the veteran leadership from our defense. And again, I say our, you know what I mean? I'm talking about Bills Mafia. Just looking at the veteran leadership from the defense. And I believe the line of scrimmage is stronger for this Bills defense. Again, I can't talk about the linebacker play more. Edmonds playing well. He got after the quarterback. He made some nice drops. You look at Milano. I always call him the glue to this defense, always being in the right space so that he can defend the opposing quarterback. But at the end of the day, this Miami Dolphins offense, they have a lot of speed on the outside, a whole lot of speed on the outside. And oftentimes they just send those guys deep just to create the space, right? Just to create the space so that when whoever the quarterback is for the Miami Dolphins, when they check it down, they want to break tackles and things like that. So this defense, our defense, Buffalo Bills, we have to be sure tacklers this week because there's going to be a lot of one-on-one opportunities in space. You bring the ball carrier down, we win the game.
We were talking about, the Packers losing their opportunity to get into the playoffs last night with a loss to the Lions and Lions still playing hard for Dan Campbell. You got 6 games on tap this weekend. What was the most surprising team for you headed into the playoffs this year? Like maybe, what was the biggest surprise? Is it a team that made it you didn't think would, or a team that isn't there that should be?
Honestly, guys, it's my other team. You guys, Bill's my first team, right? My other team is my Seattle Seahawks. You can't let a franchise quarterback like Russell Wilson walk out there doing, guys, I was in that locker room. I've seen, Coach Carroll and guys get certain personalities out of that locker room just so that the organization can be Russell's. And then Russell said he wants to get out when I'm like, well, what are you looking for? Well, Russell gets out of there. Geno Smith takes the reins at the quarterback position and becomes probably one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the National Football League this season. I think he has number 1 and number 2 in completion percentage. But to see this team get into the playoffs, this is one of Coach Carroll's best coaching jobs. I mean, really, I seen him smiling more this year. I seen him seem like he was enjoying himself a little bit more this year. And it didn't seem like he had to submit to a franchise quarterback like he had to do in past years. So to me, it has to be the Seattle Seahawks. They weren't supposed to be there. Nobody expected them to be there except the 90-plus guys in that locker room and in that facility. So, yeah, it's definitely got to be the Seattle Seahawks.
The Chiefs benefit from the scrapped game between the Bills and the Bengals because they get put in control of their own destiny and they take care of business against the Raiders. And they'll have home field throughout the playoffs unless they face the Bills in the AFC title game. That will go neutral site. I've got to bring this up, though. What's up with the ring around the rosy play? I mean, is that if you're the Raiders, I need to know this from a player's perspective, Mike. If you're the Raiders, is that an insult to you that they think they can play these kinds of games and run a play like that against you? Or as a Raiders defender, do you have to say, I got to stop them and make them pay for these kind of hijinks? You got to practice that during the week, that doesn't just happen.
All the above.
That's totally choreographed.
Look, man, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, they be so disrespectful sometimes. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And as a defensive player, I would be looking and saying, oh, no, there's no way in hell this play is going to work. I don't care if I got to do something, slam somebody or something. There's no way you're going to do ring around the roses, line up, do some type of double pass screen, whatever, and then get in the end zone. No. That's a little bit disrespectful. I would have got upset about that. But I will say this. The Kansas City Chiefs have done a great job this year. Seriously, I did not think that they would have this much offensive prowess without a Tyreek Hill. Now, I've said this earlier in the season, where I think the missing Tyreek Hill will be in the playoffs against a team like the Buffalo Bills. Why? Because we can score, we got a big, strong arm quarterback, and we got a defense that bends but don't break, right? And so what you need offensively to go against a defense that bends but don't break, you need that big play guy, right? To me, the Kansas City Chiefs don't have that big play guy. Yes, you have Travis Kelce, but he's not scaring anybody when you're watching tape. Tyreek Hill, he's a guy that scares somebody, and they have the quarterback in Patrick Mahomes to get him the football.
Yeah.
One last one I've got for you concerns the Bills' passing game. From probably like week 11 to like week 16, the deep shots just were not a part of Buffalo's passing game as much as they had been the first 10 weeks of the season. Part of that was, we believe, due to the fact that Josh was throwing a lot of picks through the middle part of the season. They kind of pulled the reins in tighter on the passing game, relied on the running game a little bit more, played more conservatively, focused on efficiency over big plays. How refreshing was it going into the postseason to see the absolute dime from the far hash traveling 60 yards through the air between the numbers to Stephon Diggs for a touchdown yesterday?
Bruh, when you were saying that, I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. I was screaming to the top of my lungs in my house, like, did you see that bazooka? I'm telling my son, I'm telling my wife, I'm telling my daughters, did you see the bazooka, Josh Allen? Did you see that throw? I mean, this is why I call that guy QB number one in the National Football League. I don't see anybody else on the planet doing that. I just don't. I mean, and he dropped a dime. And Steph Diggs, it's to me, it's a reason why Steph Diggs, after every play, he's like, bro, I want it, because you know your quarterback can get you the ball at any spot on the football field. I believe if you go use the bathroom in the locker room, Josh Allen can get it to you from the 50-yard line. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much this guy's arm talent is. So much up there. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like it. And when you're playing when you're playing the New England Patriots, they did a good job of trying to keep him in the pocket, because when you get Josh Allen outside of the pocket, all hell breaks loose. I'm talking about for the defense, right? Because you just can't cover everybody. But I will say this before I let you guys go. Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Shakur, we need another guy to truly step up, because at the end of the day, these playoff defenses are not just going to let Stephon Diggs continue to do what he does. Yeah, he's going to get his passes, but we're going to have a second and a third guy step up. Dawson Knox has been doing a great job, even though he needs to get better in the run game. Doing a great job. But we need another passing threat to step up, because defenses will focus on our guy, Steph Diggs, a little too much.
All right, so to counter that very quickly, bonus question. John Brown makes a big play yesterday on playing some little backyard football. The smoke show returned. Beasley is available on the practice squad. You can elevate those guys unlimited number of times in the postseason, as you know. Is one of those guys a possibility in that area, since we haven't seen Khalil Shakir or Gabriel Davis or Isaiah McKenzie consistently fill that void?
I believe so. I believe that touchdown to John Brown was something that Ken Dorsey, Sean McDermott, even our guy Josh Allen was like, whoa, I need that. You know what I mean? We even saw Josh do the old John Brown dance on him. You know what I'm saying? So he has a little bit of level of excitement. I just love seeing this offense play, man. They look so close. I like seeing this entire team play. But at the end of the day, you're going to need another threat. I don't care if it's James Cook coming out of the backfield. I don't care if it's Devin Singletary catching the ball out of the backfield. We're going to need another explosive threat going to try to win a championship, because in the AFC, these offenses, they can score.
Mike, thanks very much. Appreciate the insight. We'll catch up with you next week.
You,
hopefully we're talking about the divisional round, my friend.
Oh, we will. We ain't giving no exit physicals until what, February, 13th, 14th, something like that. See y'all next week.
All right, thanks, Mike.